I am Madam Crystal Butterfly, and today I am going to be reviewing The Walls by H.D. Scarberry. Now, my lovelies, I do admit that The Walls was an intense read. The author of this story dives down into a lot of subject matter that people really do not like discussing due to its uncomfortable nature. And I like the fact that the author was bold enough to do so, because as uncomfortable as these particular topics are, these are things that need to be discussed, not shoved away so we can all pretend like things like this do not happen. Allow me to give you greater perspective into this story by telling you what The Walls is all about. On a hiking trip in Alabama, Amber encounters a strange woman who offers to help her heal from a traumatic childhood. The journey comes with a cost. If Amber is unable to make peace with something in her past, she will be stuck in that memory, repeating the same dreadful day forever. Will Amber be able to defeat the demons that haunt her? Or will the memories be too much to take, capturing her for eternity? From that, my lovelies, you can clearly tell that Amber has really been through something terrible in her young life. As I mentioned before, a woman volunteers to help her face her traumatic past in order to move forward in her life. In the story, it's actually three women: Mildred, Madeline, and Gretchen. And these three women are special because they are magic witches who can send Amber into her memories in order to face her many past traumas. Why does Amber bump into a trio of witches who are apparently sisters, who volunteer to help her face her traumas by entering her memories in order to move forward in her life and not let her past bog her down? I'm not going to tell you because this is a spoiler-free review. If you want that information, you're going to have to read this book. When Amber is sent into her memories, it's not like she's being sent into a major flashback where everything is still and she can't do anything to affect it. The memories have people react, respond to her actions and what she says to them. So she's basically reliving the memory with a little bit more of an opportunity to interact with it so that she can take control and make peace with what happened. The first memory she is sent into is one where she realizes she is 9 years old. And she's in the car with her mother, her father, and her sister, and they are on their way to her grandparents' house to have a lovely Thanksgiving dinner, hang out with the entire family who they don't get to see too often. Sadly for Amber, as soon as she realizes what they are doing in this memory, she remembers what happened to her. On this particular visit to her grandparents' house for Thanksgiving, she was touched inappropriately for the first time by her uncle, somebody that she trusted. When Amber realizes what this memory is, she immediately gets sick to her stomach and her family is forced to pull over and her parents attend to her, try and wait till she feels a little bit better. And her mother asks her, "What's wrong? Why are you so upset?" And Amber, very upset, tells her she does not want to see her uncle. Her mother doesn't really try to get details from her daughter hardcore about why she doesn't want to see her uncle. She immediately gets very angry with her child and decides that the whole reason why Amber doesn't want to see her uncle is because he's in a wheelchair. So she just wants to treat him like he's some kind of freak show because his legs don't work. When in actuality, it has to do with the fact that he took advantage of the fact that nobody sees him as a threat to touch Amber inappropriately. She tries to talk to her mother what this is about, but her mother, she's not hearing it. She's telling him she's going to be sweet and polite to her uncle and give him a hug and a kiss, and she don't want to hear anything about not wanting to see him. When they get back in the car and continue the drive to Amber's grandparents' house, Amber's mind is upset and all over the place about what she should do because part of her knows that she should speak up. But she knows if she speaks up, her father is going to kill her uncle, no questions asked, and it's going to cause all this drama in the family. The fear of breaking her family apart in a dramatic way encourages her to keep her mouth shut about her uncle's disgusting behavior. At the same time, she knows in her heart she does not want to allow this sorry son of a so-and-so to take advantage of her that way again. As she meditates on it, she realizes, yes, she's in the memory of when she was 9. And she looks like a 9-year-old girl because of this. But in truth, she's not a helpless 9-year-old girl anymore. She's a grown woman who can take charge of her life. So she prepares herself to deal with her uncle and not take his crap this time when they go to the grandparents' house. She's going to take this horrible experience and show her abuser that she's not putting up with him anymore and he has no power over her. When they arrive, Amber does a pretty good job of avoiding her uncle for the most part throughout the day. Unfortunately, sometime later in the evening, her family's all like, "Oh, give your uncle a hug. Say hi, sweetie." Amber knows what's going to happen the second she does that. So when she goes over to him, she whispers in his ear what she really thinks about him, what he's really all about, and what she's going to do if he even thinks about trying to touch her any place inappropriate. Her uncle's so taken aback from hearing that much swearing from a 9-year-old. He realizes he better stay in his place and not get any nasty ideas. When she does this moment of standing up for herself, the memory still plays out what happened the rest of that Thanksgiving day. But this time, she was able to stand up for herself and stop somebody from trying to take advantage of her, which helps her build a lot of confidence towards facing the other memories. And it also helps her make more peace with the trauma that she experienced by being betrayed by a family member in such a horrible way. Sadly, this is not the only horrible memory Amber has to deal with, and there are other memories from events in her past that I have to admit are extremely traumatic and upsetting, and no human should ever experience things like this, especially a child. In every memory that Amber is forced to relive, there is one subject that is constantly brought up, and that is her mother's impending alcoholism problem. I suspect the author did this to show how abandoned Amber feels because her mother chose constantly drinking from the bottle over taking care of her and really being there for her. In each memory that Amber is sent into, it's like she's counting down to the moment where her mother is a full-fledged drunk and completely just abandons her daughter's needs and well-being for the bottle. Amber's mother's drunken behavior, I feel the author was also trying to emphasize, played a part in the most horrible event of Amber's life. Her mother did not directly allow this to happen to her. She had just begun to favor the bottle over taking care of Amber. And Amber is sent into a memory where she's a teenager. Her mother has pretty much checked out of her life to be drunk all the time. And sadly, because of the emotions Amber was going through at this age because of it, it's clear she feels like she can't really depend on anybody when her own mother is not somebody she can go to anymore for help. All right, my lovelies, I'm getting into the heaviest topic of the book only because the author pretty much lets you know this is going to happen from page 1. I think to help you mentally prepare for it. And there's no point in beating around the bush about it. I'm not going to go into details about who did this to Amber. I'm not going to go into details how this person got the opportunity to do this to Amber. But from the beginning, the author makes it pretty clear that this story involves sexual assault. And sadly, when at a young age, Amber was raped. And I'm going to go a bit deeper into this subject matter because, like a lot of rape victims, Amber did not feel like she should come forward. She clearly did not really want to tackle the issues. She didn't really want to tell anybody this happened to her. And sadly, we do still live in a society where we project a lot of times we're going to take sexual assault more seriously, but half the time we'll be able to get somebody locked up and punished for a long time for a weed charge instead of somebody who raped somebody else, even if there's massive amounts of evidence, especially if the rapist has big money. Many victims of this, if they're women, a lot of times they're treated like, oh, they brought it upon themselves. And if this happens to a male, he's treated like he was weak unless he was assaulted by a female. In that case, they're saying, well, you just got lucky at an early age. What are you complaining about? And something I am grateful that the author did was basically say, no, this is not a joke. This is serious. People who have been through this are hurting. And we shouldn't just treat this like this is something that, oh, we should just dismiss it. We need to take this seriously and try to get some form of justice for people who went through this trauma and not just always dismiss their abusers. The author also brings up how when something this traumatic happens, it's good for the person to just try to make peace with the event in order to not forgive the person who hurt them, so much as not let that person hold them back in life. All right. When it comes to The Walls by H.D. Scarberry, I am giving this book the rating of 5 butterflies out of 5. I like how the author gets into the subject matter of intense trauma and facing that trauma in order to move forward with your life and not let it destroy you. I also like the fact that this story doesn't just skim over this like, oh, she saw her trauma, so just immediately get over it and act like it doesn't happen, or this stuff didn't happen and just ignore it. Yes, the main character is facing her traumas in order to move forward in her life. But she's not pretending like none of this ever happened to her. She accepts that these things did happen to her, but she does not force herself to let these moments destroy her anymore. Alright, my lovelies, if you've made it to this point of the video, thank you. And please, if you enjoyed it, give me a like, leave me a comment, and if you have not yet, slap the subscribe button like it owes you money, and don't forget to give that little notification bell a ring. And with that, my lovelies, this video is a wrap. Now, if you please, come with me as we dance into a world